a warm welcome back from President Biden. You see what I did there with the fire behind them?
That was nice.
President-elect Donald Trump has hit the ground running on his cabinet picks. Welcome into Talking Points. I'm Luke Radel.
And I'm Jake Morel. Last week, Trump made several high-profile selections for his next administration. Just minutes after we wrapped up our show last week, we learned that Florida Senator and former Trump foe Marco Rubio is Trump's selection for Secretary of State.
And the next day, Trump plucked Fox and Friends weekend co-host Pete Hegseth off that curvy couch to lead the Department of Defense in a move that very few people saw coming, Jake, much like the drummer didn't see that X coming, maybe.
No, he did not. That's low. And the surprises continued on Wednesday when Trump tapped the now former firebrand congressman from Florida, Matt Gaetz, to be his attorney general. Gaetz left Congress days before an ethics probe was set to be released on allegations of illicit drug use and sexual assault. Gaetz denies wrongdoing, but it's unclear if he'll get confirmed.
And that pick raised a lot of eyebrows. But to top it all off, on Thursday, Trump rolled out Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as his choice to become Health and Human Services Secretary. Jake, Kennedy is a conspiracy theorist and vaccine critic who has railed against public health institutions in the past, while also holding critical views of big pharma and food manufacturers. Jake, these folks will definitely face an uphill battle in getting confirmed by the Senate.
Yeah, they absolutely will. Already seeing a lot of interesting reactions out of Senate Republicans, but we're going to dive into that a lot more later, and I'm really, really excited to discuss all that.
Me too. Should be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Well, the House Ethics Committee will meet on Wednesday to decide if they will release their report on now former Congressman Matt Gaetz ahead of his confirmation hearings as Attorney General. House Speaker Mike Johnson said he's strongly requesting the committee keep their report secret, calling it a, quote, breach of protocol. Last week, a lawyer who represents the woman who said she had sex with Gaetz while she was underage called for the report to be made public.
And joining me now is a retired lobbyist of the Republican persuasion out of Florida, Mac Stipanovich. Mac, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Anytime.
So I want to get a sense from you of what your overall read is of these current Trump cabinet picks. You joined Republicans for Harris. You describe yourself as a never Trump Republican, but he has made some choices of some folks in your home state. What's your reaction to the picks so far?
Well, it depends on the pick. Marco, who I know, is certainly a plausible choice for Secretary of State, even though he's turned into kind of a reek since 2016. Waltz is okay for the post he was picked for. Susie Wiles is very, very competent as chief of staff. It remains to be seen if she'll be a good chief of staff, because great campaign managers are not always good chiefs of staff. I was a decent campaign manager back in the day, and I was probably one of Florida's 3 worst chiefs of staff. So it doesn't always translate. Matt Gaetz, on the other hand, is horrible. I agree with John Bolton, who said it may be the worst cabinet nomination in the history of America.
You do have a bit of a closer relationship, though, as far as I understand, or at least you did at one point with Matt Gaetz, the nominee there for Attorney General. Did you tell me that you took him out on your fishing boat?
Yeah, Matt's from over in the Panhandle, and I, for 20 years, I had a place in Destin there in the Panhandle between Panama City and Pensacola, where I kept my boats. And that was the area that, like I said, Matt came from, where he was elected to the Florida House from, and where he ended up until a few days ago being the congressional representative for. And so, I lobbied him. I would have lunch with him from time to time, and I took him fishing offshore on my boat one time. So,
what was he like? I mean, we're obviously getting a sense now of some of his infidelities and various personal matters. Did you get a sense of that in your time with him?
Yeah, Matt is, make no mistake about it. Matt is, he's a very smart guy. Yeah.
You talk about him being a smart guy. He did actually resign from Congress a few days before there was expected to be an ethics report released on some of those allegations. Do you expect that we'll end up seeing that ethics report either publicly or if the Senate will see it before his confirmation hearing?
I cannot believe that they will be able to keep that secret. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's been nominated to be Attorney General of the United States. Everybody on the planet knows that there is a multi-year investigation that has come to fruition, that is in writing, that is sitting there with findings about his behavior with drugs, his showing nude pictures on the House floor allegedly, his sex with underage women. Hell, he all he denies is that they were underage, that they were 18, not 17. So I would expect that to come out, and if it does, I would not expect the Senate to confirm him. And if the House tries to keep it secret to protect him, I would not expect the Senate to confirm him.
Yeah. Lastly, on the Gaetz point, if he is ultimately confirmed or if he's put in via recess appointment, what are you most concerned about from an Attorney General Gaetz?
That he has no experience, that he has no principles, that he will do exactly what Donald Trump tells him to do, and he will, if there are people who think that the Justice Department has been politicized recently, they have no idea what it would look like if Mac Gaetz was Attorney General.
Mac Stipanovich, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Take care.